Congratulations! You've decided to learn Arabic. This is a challenging but a rewarding endeavor. Hello and welcome everyone. This channel is about teaching Arabic to foreigners. If you are new, please make sure you like, subscribe, and keep watching. Do you know that Arabic is the sixth most spoken language in the world? With nearly 420 million people speaking it worldwide, learning a new language is always a big undertaking. But when the language doesn't share roots of your native tongue, it's even more difficult. With any new language, there are keys to its success in becoming fluent. You learn vocabularies, sentence structure, grammar, verb conjugation, and practice. Practice, practice. Because as you know, practice makes perfect. Immerse yourself with a new language. You watch movies, you listen to music in the new language. Speak it as well as you can, as often as you can. And seek out the native speakers and converse with them. Before long, you'll have a working understanding and beginning fluidity in the new language. Or at least that's the idea. However, Arabic can present some unique challenges for native English speakers to slow the learning process down. For example, Arabic uses a completely new alphabet. There is almost no shared vocabulary between Arabic and Latin-based languages. Every single word you learn is a new word. There are 10 usual verb patterns, and students must memorize the conjugation and vocalization for the active and passive voices. Plurals and their agreements with numbers are more complex and difficult than what we are used to in English. Arabic is foreign to English speakers in every sense of word. Sounds a little tough, doesn't it? Thankfully, there are steps that anyone take to make the learning process easier. It will take hard work, dedication, and time, but it's certainly achievable. Step 1. Decide which form of Arabic you want to learn. There are many types of Arabic. It is the mother tongue and the official language of nearly 30 countries in the Middle East and Northern Africa. There are different accents and a variety of local pronunciation. If you are planning to spend time in one area, you'll have to choose the variation pertains to that region. Step 2. Start with the basics. It's easy to fall into the trap of trying to learn Arabic by transcribing words instead of learning Arabic alphabet first. Think about how we learned English back in school. First you learn your letters, then you form those letters into words, then you learn how to form sentences, then you learn more about proper syntax and grammar. Taking shortcuts will only slow you down. Step 3. Learn to use the Arabic dictionary. This task is not as easy as it sounds. In Arabic dictionary, words are generally organized by the 3 letters roots. To look up a word, you need to know what the root is and what letter the root starts with, which is not necessarily the first letter in the word. Using dictionary takes practice, but the sooner you learn it, the better. It will make the entire process easier and enjoyable. Step 4. Immerse yourself in the study and practice. This is a critical step in learning any language, but doubly so when learning Arabic. The best way to learn a new word is to see it, hear it, write it, and speak it. So combine those activities as much as you can. One way for beginners to practice a new language is to watch children's television programs in that language. The vocabulary is easier, and the educational nature of those programs can be extremely helpful for new students of any age. As you gain proficiency, another tactic is to watch movies in foreign language with English subtitles. That way you gain a better ear for listening, and the English subtitle give you a translation of what you are hearing. Eventually, you will be able to switch off the subtitle and still understanding what is being said. Step 5. Speak the language. and hearing isn't enough, however. It's critical that you converse in Arabic with other people. It can be difficult to find a conversational partner if you are not acquainted with native Arabic speaker. Thankfully, modern technology can do a lot to solve that problem. Step 6. Never stop learning. These steps are just the beginning. It's easy to start the journey of learning Arabic, but the challenging to see it through. Mastering the language will require years of study, but gaining conversation skills can come quickly if you dedicate yourself to the pursuit. So, are you ready to dip your toes in the water? Wish you good luck, or as you will be saying after learning the language, بالتوفيق. Hello and welcome everyone. This channel is about teaching Arabic to foreigners. If you are new, please make sure you like, subscribe and keep watching. مرحبا أنا كوثر سررت بلقائك. Hi, I'm Kautar. Nice to meet you. In this channel, we're going to learn basic Arabic expressions. It's super easy and it takes only few minutes. In this lesson, you are going to learn how to introduce yourself in Arabic. There are a few other ways to say it, depending on how formal you want to be. Let's first look at the informal way to introduce yourself in Arabic. مرحبا أنا كوثر سررت بلقائك. Hi, I'm Kautar. It's pleasure to meet you. مرحبا أنا كوثر سررت بلقائك. Now you try it. Start by saying مرحبا, which is the equivalent of hi. Then say أنا, literally I am, followed by your name. أنا كوثر is I am Kautar. Finally, say nice to meet you. If you are talking to a man, you say سررت بلقائك. If you are talking to a woman, say سررت بلقائك. This phrase means pleasure to meet you. In the English phrase pleasure to meet you, you is a neutral word. You can use it for both men and women. But in Arabic, the word you needs a gender. When you change the last letter in liqa'ika, a, to an e sound, liqa'iki, you are actually changing the word you for the male to the female version. Please be careful to use the correct version. Now let's say another way of introducing yourself. In this version, you will say, hi, my name is Kautar, instead of saying, hi, I am Kautar. And you will learn another way of saying nice to meet you. مرحبا اسمي كوثر تشرفت بمعرفتك. Hi, my name is Kautar. I am honored to meet you. مرحبا اسمي كوثر تشرفت بمعرفتك. What has changed from the previous introduction? Let's take a close look at this together. First, مرحبا أنا كوثر has changed to مرحبا اسمي كوثر. So, instead of saying hi, I am Kautar, we are speaking in a more formal way. I say, hi, my name is Kautar. Next, after giving your name, instead of saying سررت بلقائك, you say تشرفت بمعرفتك. Or I am honored to meet you, which is a bit more formal. Again, you should not forget to change the ending of the word depending on the gender of the person you are speaking to. It would be تشرفت بمعرفتك for a man and تشرفت بمعرفتك in case of a woman. One more time, Here are the 4 ways you learn to introduce yourself in Arabic. Informally, مرحبا أنا كوثر سررت بلقائك if you are speaking to a man, and مرحبا أنا كوثر سررت بلقائك if you are speaking to a woman. The formal way to introduce yourself is مرحبا اسمي كوثر تشرفت بمعرفتك if the person you are talking to is a man, and مرحبا اسمي كوثر تشرفت بمعرفتك if that person is a woman. Now it's time for Kautar's tips. When you introduce yourself in the Middle East or Northern African countries, it's polite to offer your right hand for a handshake or give 3 kisses on the cheeks. Although the rules vary depending on where you are, Arab people place a great value on politeness. So, for example, it is considered rude to enter a room or a place without greeting everyone. If you use the right sentence to introduce yourself, then definitely be impressed. Do you know how to say thank you in Arabic? Please stay with me. Now we are going to learn how to use good manners as we thank people. هل أنتم جاهزون? Are you ready? فلنبدأ. Then let's start. There are several ways to thank someone. Let's start with the most common phrase, shukran. Shukran. Shukran means thank you. To say thank you very much, you just need to add jazilan. Shukran jazilan. Shukran jazilan. Shukran is a formal way of saying thank you. When someone thanks you, how should you answer? There is no set response like you're welcome in English, but there are a few things you can say. The first is بكل سرور. This means with pleasure. بكل سرور. There are so many ways of saying you are welcome in Arabic. Another one is لا شكر على واجب, which means don't thank me, it's my duty. لا شكر على واجب. Now it's time for counter steps. Shukran can mean thank you or thanks. Arabic language is very emotional, and the relation between Arab peoples are very personal. Do you know what إلى اللقاء means? Hello and welcome everyone. This channel is about teaching Arabic to foreigners. If you are new, please make sure you like, subscribe, and keep watching. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce yourself, also how to say thank you. In this lesson, we will learn some of the most common greetings used in Arabic-speaking countries. هل أنتم جاهزون? Are you ready? فلنبدأ. Then let's start. The most common greeting is marhaban or hi. Marhaban. This is a general way to greet people when you see them. A more casual greeting is Assalamu alaikum. This means peace be with you, and this is generally used by Muslims. We say it when we meet someone and also when we leave. Assalamu alaikum. Someone could respond to Assalamu alaikum with marhaban or hi. But it is more polite to respond such greeting in a corresponding way, since Assalamu alaikum means peace be with you. When greeting in that way, we should answer back with wa alaikum assalam, which literally means peace be with you too. وعليكم السلام. Whether you use مرحبا, hi, or السلام عليكم, when it's time to leave you can say وداعا or goodbye. وداعا. The other person can reply مع السلامة, which means be safe. مع السلامة. Let's review the phrases we learned in this lesson. مرحبا is hi. السلام عليكم is peace be with you. Response is وعليكم السلام. كيف حالك or كيف حالك is how are you. وداعا is goodbye. And مع السلامة is be safe. It is also polite to ask the person how they are. كيف حالك? How are you? كيف حالك? Don't forget that in Arabic, the word you needs to have a gender. So, كيف حالك is good if you're talking to a man. But if you're talking to a woman, you should ask كيف حالك? كيف حالك? When it's time to leave, we can say وداعا or goodbye. وداعا. وداعا. The other person can reply مع السلامة, which means you're safe. مع السلامة. Now it's time for counter steps. If you're leaving and you want to show the person that you'd like to see them again, you can use إلى اللقاء, meaning see you, or إلى اللقاء قريبا, see you soon. إلى اللقاء. إلى اللقاء قريبا. Now you learn a lot of ways to greet people in Arabic. Now we are going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English? If you find yourself in this situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you're asking this in Arabic, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you're saying, even if the answer is no. Here is the basic way to ask if someone speaks English. هل تتكلم الإنجليزية? If you are talking to a male. And هل تتكلمين الإنجليزية? If you are talking to a female. هل تتكلم الإنجليزية؟ هل تتكلمين الإنجليزية؟ هل means do. You and speak are merged in the same word. تتكلم for male and تتكلمين for female. إنجليزية means English. This is an indirect way of asking someone to speak to you in English. There are many ways of making it clear that asking a person to speak to you in English. For example, هل بإمكانك التكلم بالإنجليزية means could you speak English? هل بإمكانك means could you, are you able to, or is it possible to, and is refers to ability of the person to speak English. Again, if you are talking to a female, you should change the last accent from ka to ki. So the question can be هل بإمكانك التكلم بالإنجليزية? التكلم means speaking, and بالإنجليزية means in English. To be more formal, you can add the word please to the request to make it هل بإمكانك التكلم بالإنجليزية من فضلك. In this case, the question cannot mean the person's ability to speak English anymore, because you are obviously asking them to speak English to you. Since in Arabic the word please literally means from your favor, it should also be changed according to the person's gender. So, in case of a female, we should also change the ka ending of please and min fadlika to min fadliki. The question becomes هل بإمكانك التكلم بالإنجليزية من فضلك? The responses you will receive could be one of these three. نعم, yes. نعم. أو قليلا, a little. قليلا, قليلا. There are a few ways of saying no in Arabic. لا or كلا. No, I don't speak English. Is لا, أنا لا أتكلم الإنجليزية. لا, أنا لا أتكلم الإنجليزية. It is exactly the same structure in English. لا is no. أنا is I. لا means don't. أتكلم is I speak, and الإنجليزية is English. Since this last one is negative statement, we need to say لا before the verb أتكلم or speak. لا literally means no, but when placed before a verb, it negates this verb, becoming don't or doesn't. Note this also that the verb أتكلم is likely different than تتكلم, which we learned before. Remember, the verb changes depending on the pronoun used. We are not talking about أنا, Arabic for I, thus I do not speak is أنا لا أتكلم. Now it's time for counter steps. For those of you who are not native English speakers, you can obviously use these questions with any language you need. Arab people study other languages at school depending on the country they live in. So maybe you get lucky. Just substitute al-Injliziyya with al-Faransiyya for French, al-Italiyya for Italian, al-Ispaniyya for Spanish, or al-Almaniyya for German. See you next lesson. إلى اللقاء. Hello and welcome everyone. This channel is about teaching Arabic to foreigners. If you are new, please make sure you like, subscribe, and keep watching. In the last lesson, we learned the phrases هل تتكلم الإنجليزية? Do you speak English? And هل بإمكانك التكلم بالإنجليزية? Could you speak English? And we mentioned the word من فضلك, which means please in Arabic. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to use al-madira or afwan and ana asif. In other words, when apologizing in Arabic. We should use al-madira or afwan when you want to say excuse me, such as when you are ordering something in restaurants. For example, al-madira, قهوة من فضلك, or عفوا, قهوة من فضلك. Excuse me, coffee please. We can also use it when asking a question. المعذرة, أين المحطة? Or عفوا أين المحطة? Excuse me, where is the station? Sometimes we also hear people say من فضلك or please to draw somebody's attention. من فضلك. If the person is a woman, replace the ending with ki, so it becomes من فضلك. In case you want to use excuse me to apologize instead of asking something, you should say عذرا. It can be used if you accidentally bump into someone on the street. عذرا. Just like عذرا, we can use أنا آسف when apologizing. It literally means I'm sorry or pardon me. As we learned in the last lessons, أنا means I. So the adjective that follows should be modified according to the gender. So if you're a woman, you should say أنا آسفة instead of أنا آسف. All of these phrases can be used for either excuse me or I'm sorry. But if you really want to apologize for something, it might be better to use different phrase. That phrase is the verb سامحني. سامحني. It can be translated as forgive me in English. It is a bit stronger, but it can be used in both formal and informal situations. Again, since سامحني means that you are asking for the other person's forgiveness, it should be changed according to the gender. So it becomes سامحيني if the other person is a female. سامحيني. Now it's time for Qatar steps. Please remember that in most of the Arab countries, if you accidentally bump into someone, we don't say forgive me, سامحني, which is for more serious annoyance. Instead, we say عذرا or أنا آسف, excuse me or I am sorry. So now we're going to learn how to go shopping in Arabic-speaking countries. Before we go, we need to know how to say how much is this. بكم هذا. بكم هذا. Are you ready to go shopping? Let's go. You see something you like and you want to ask the shopkeeper how much it costs. The first thing to say is عفوا. Do you remember what that means? Excuse me. عفوا. بكم هذا. عفوا. بكم هذا. Another way of asking how much is this is to say what is the price of this or كم ثمن هذا. Next, if we are specifying what the object is, we need to know if the object is feminine or masculine. If it is masculine, keep هذا when referring to it, and if it is feminine, use هذه. Then, if you would like to specify the name of the object, you first say L, which is like the, and then say the noun. For example, pen is masculine. قلم. عفوا. كم ثمن هذا القلم? Excuse me, what is the price of this pen? عفوا. كم ثمن هذا القلم? And محفظة is a feminine noun that means wallet. عفوا. كم ثمن هذه المحفظة? Excuse me, how much is this wallet? عفوا. كم ثمن هذه المحفظة? At this point, the shop people can answer by saying just the price or ثمنه plus the price for a masculine noun and ثمنها plus the price of a feminine noun. For example, 20 درهما 20 dirhams, or ثمنه 20 درهما, its price is 20 dirhams. Now it's time for counter sets. After asking for the price, we can ask for the number of items we want and combine the words we learned before to make a good sentence. 2 من فضلك, 2 please. At this point, we can change the number according to the gender of the noun that follows in Arabic. We are going to learn how to do this and much more in the next lesson. I'll be waiting for you in the next lesson. See you next lesson. إلى اللقاء.